From great stories to tales of intrigue, we present WCRS Radiostage. Please join us for this exercise of the imagination with radio drama. Today, a just-in-case murder mystery by John S. Drew. That sound tells us there's only 15 seconds till curtain time. So get comfortable in your chair as we go to Studio X and WCRS Radiostage presents the story, Murder in High Society.
My name is Just in Case. Perhaps you've heard of me. I'm the guy that solved the murder of the late-night radio talk show host Russell Stern, live on the air. Made me enough to cover my expenses, up to now. And there lies the problem. I stepped into my office one spring morning.
Good morning, Mr. Case.
Melissa, you know you can call me Justin.
I only call my friends by their first name.
And what am I?
You're the boss.
With you here, that's debatable. Any phone calls?
Nope.
How could things have gotten quiet so quickly? We couldn't keep up with the phone a few months ago.
Your 15 minutes of fame are almost up.
This was more than that. I found out who killed a popular radio talk show host.
There are new talk shows on the radio now. People move on. You're becoming old news.
Well, looks like I'm going to have to hit the streets and start drumming up some business.
I can save you some time. Take a look at this. It came in the mail this morning.
You are cordially invited to witness the unveiling of the Henderson Cyberscape System, the revolutionary operating system. Melissa, it's another hoity-toity party. I'm not interested.
You need to go to these types of parties. You've turned down every one you've been invited to.
Because the people that attend them are cutthroat business people and high society types. What could I possibly have in common with them?
Nothing other than solving their problems. Cheating spouses, embezzlers, and company security. It's a good place to drum up business.
Okay, but I want you to wear something revealing.
What? You want me to come with you?
Why not? You can keep me from making an ass of myself in front of the snobs.
All right, but I'm going to dress appropriately. Not like those cheap women you like to drool over.
I would never drool over you, Melissa.
That's right, you wouldn't. I'll have to hire us a car.
Fine, but nothing too pretentious.
Your usual horse and buggy, right?
Very funny.
Take it easy, Mr. Case. You're going to be fine.
I don't know what it is about being among people like this. They make me feel so uneasy.
And whom do we have here? Do I know you?
Miss Alona Henderson, my name is Melissa Crandall. Allow me to introduce you to my employer, Mr. Justin Case.
Justin Case? Well, I've been so wanting to meet you, Mr. Case. I was most impressed with the way you found the killer of Russell Stern.
Thank you. I didn't think anyone remembered.
Such modesty. I want to talk with you about the case, but first I must have a word with a familiar face. I'll be right back.
What's so funny?
It's nice to see you at a loss for words for a change, to know you aren't unflappable.
I'm not comfortable around these people, and thanks for sparing me the awkward introductions.
Just doing my job, Mr. Case.
Excuse me, would you care for a glass of champagne?
Oh, yes. Thanks.
No thanks, pal. The bubbles make my nose itch. Besides, I need something a little stronger.
Sir, the bar is over there near the ice sculpture.
You just saved my life, Jeeves.
My name is Corman, sir. If there's anything else you should require...
I'll know just who to ask. Thanks, pal.
We really have to have a talk about social graces when we get back, Mr. Case.
What? I wasn't rude to him, was I?
Just because he's a butler doesn't mean his name is Jeeves. And not only that, Hey, what's going on here?
Looks like Mrs. Henderson is having an argument. I'm going to walk over there and listen.
All right. I'll be close by if you need a social crutch to lean on.
Thanks. Ilona Henderson lived one of those fairy tale lives. Raised from her poor past to the riches of her late husband, Daniel Henderson, Ilona Henderson may know nothing about Henderson Cyberscape, but she manages to project a strong, healthy IPO with her outgoing personality. Her opponent was a mousy little man with a thinning hairline.
I have just as much right to be here as anyone else, Ilona. Thanks to my basic designs, you were able to complete your cyberscape system.
And you are still accusing me of theft? I thought our lawyers had sorted all this out.
Our lawyers may have settled this, but I haven't.
Ah, here is Mr. Justin Case. Mr. Case, this is Milton Farber, head of Farber Technologies and my main competitor in the software business.
You have no competition because you simply take what you want.
Milton thinks I stole the basic design to his operating system, Mr. Case. Perhaps you can take his case and solve his mystery.
There is no mystery here, Ilona.
If you gentlemen will excuse me, I have other people to attend to. Don't be worried about making an early exit, Milton.
Oh, that woman really gets under my skin. I hate it when she talks to me that way. What did she say your name was?
Justin Case. I'm a private investigator.
Really? Well, maybe I can use your help. Someone managed to get the basic designs from the programming of my operating system to Henderson, but I don't know who. Do you do security work?
I've done some security work, but I'm afraid I'm a little lost when you talk about operating systems. I know very little about computers and such.
Haven't gotten with the 21st century yet, huh? Well, that might make you a better candidate. Here's my card. It's got my cell phone number on it. I'm sorry. There's my phone. Will you excuse me for a moment? Hello? Yes? Hold on. You may have a distinct advantage, Mr. Case. I've become a slave to technology. I can't do anything unless I've got a glowing screen and a stream of data at my fingertips. Take this cell phone, for instance, one of the latest models. All the calling features, internet access, email, and an extensive database. My entire life is here, in this phone. I would be lost without it, which is why I actually have a small lock on the carrying case. I'll be in touch.
I couldn't help but feel sorry for the man. Despite all his success and wealth, he didn't seem happy. But then I found that is often the story with men of ambition like Farber. They reach a point when they look around at everything they've got and everything they've sacrificed to achieve it, and then ask themselves if it was worth it.
Poor boy. You just joined the club?
The club?
Oh, Chase, don't be such a bore.
I'm sorry. Where are my manners? My name is Chase Marcos. I'm Milton's partner, and this ravishing creature is Milton's wife, Christine.
Ravishing summed up Mrs. Christina Farber. Tall, statuesque, with a face that was perfectly shaped, skin that looked like milk poured from a gold chalice, and a figure that screamed for a warning sign, dangerous curves ahead. She was much younger than the wealthy Milton Farber. Just in case.
You're a detective or something, right?
Private investigator. You mentioned the club. What's that?
Oh, Chase is just teasing you, Mr. Case, and rather poorly.
Nonsense. I think we should start a club. A club where everyone Milton has ever graced with the moment of his time. And mind you, that's all you get. A moment of his time.
You're being unfair, Chase.
Am I? Any business venture the man starts, he leaves the running of it to other people. Well qualified, I grant you, but still, he has little to do with the business other than a few personal appearances.
Well, that's why he has you, Marcos. You're supposed to take care of things.
Yes, you're right, of course, but he does the same thing with his personal life. Not that I'm complaining. I've spent the evening with this beautiful young woman when she should be on the arm of her husband.
He doesn't need me adding vapid conversation to his discussions.
One thing was clear from the way this woman carried herself. She was incapable of vapid conversation. I make it a point to have full eye contact with the people I speak with. But I couldn't help but let my eyes wander all over Mrs. Farber as she spoke. I watched as an amused smile appeared on her face. She had caught me. I tried to recover. This is one of Mr. Farber's personal appearances.
Definitely. In fact, we weren't even invited. Milton wanted to make sure Ilona wasn't going to get full credit for her new operating system.
I'm not much on computers, Mr. Marcos. What exactly did Ms. Henderson allegedly steal?
She stole nothing, as far as I can tell. Operating systems serve a basic function. They allow you to operate your computer. There is nothing that's so original about any of them, from Windows to Alona's Lynx to our upcoming Rover.
So why does Mr. Farber think she did it?
Because I got the jump on him and am releasing my system a good 6 months before his. Ever since the government deregulated the Windows empire, it's made it easier for smaller companies like mine and Milton's to take a crack at being number one. Milton and I both started running promotional material for our systems nearly a year ago, with promises that it would be released 6 months from now. I managed to get a jump on mine, and now the poor dear's jealous. He'll do anything to try and stop me.
You know how dramatic he gets, Alona.
I've indulged the man up to this point, but tonight has been the final straw. I even greeted him cordially, despite the fact that he wasn't invited. But enough is enough. Where is he?
There he is, over there. Oh, dear.
What's the matter?
Milton has not been feeling well lately. This business with the two companies has upset his stomach. I can tell from the way he's clutching it.
He's running out of the room.
That's another display for sympathy.
Maybe if you had some, you'd understand.
This isn't about understanding. This is business, and in that area, I'm on top. If I take the time to feel bad about those who aren't, I won't remain there long, and I would think it would be in your best interest to stay with your man this evening rather than hanging off the arm of Chase here.
I'll have you know I'm here for Milton.
Yes, dear, I can see that. Excuse me.
You would need a steak knife to cut the tension in the room at that moment. I glanced around trying to find Melissa to rescue me, but she was in a corner fending off the advances of a young man. Not too hard. I was about to fake an illness when salvation came from the most unlikely source.
Just in case, what are you doing here?
Commissioner Hawkins, how are you?
Never mind about that. Answer my question.
After solving the Russell Stern case, I shook the hands of all the city's top officials, except for this man. Police Commissioner Vance Hawkins was never impressed with my abilities and let me know at every opportunity. I was invited.
As what? The halftime entertainment? Case, when are you going to stop milking your 15 minutes of fame?
I don't think I'm milking anything. I'm just here at the invitation of Ms. Henderson.
Who obviously finds it amusing to have you among the other circus performers here tonight. Over there's Oscar contender Joey Thurston, nearby comedian James Naffs. And over there, it's the Jets quarterback, Chris Duffy. What do any of these people, yourself included, have to do with the introduction of a computer operating system?
Point taken. What are you doing here? As Hawkins fumbled for an answer, we were all unaware of what was transpiring in the bathroom the floor above us.
Why did I eat those tacos at lunch? I should know better after what happened last time. Oh, it's occupied. Hey, do you mind? I'm in here. Wait a minute. What are you doing?
I'm telling you, it's a good thing they stopped Bill Gates when they did. Imagine an entire world relying on one corporation for their computer needs. The arrogance of that man.
There I was, trying to get a glass of punch, and I found myself cornered by this individual with a definite opinion of the state of computers. I couldn't stop him. All I could do was nod, hoping that some sort of distraction would take me away.
Ah! There's a dead body in the bathroom! Somebody help!
Not quite the distraction I was hoping for, but any port in the storm. I watched as Commissioner Hawkins made his way through the crowd.
Excuse me, out of the way.
I knew I wouldn't have much of a chance to examine the scene with the commissioner there. I scanned the room and saw Melissa standing near the stairs. When our eyes met, all I had to do was give a quick nod. She nodded back and moved to intercept the commissioner.
Case, where the hell do you think you're going? Come back here.
Commissioner Hawkins, how are you?
I would be much better if you and the others would get out of my way. Step aside. That idiot Case is getting up there first.
Case? Who are you talking about?
Just in Case, the private investigator. Now, would you please stop blocking my path and let me through?
Well, what's the hurry, Commissioner?
It's just that kind of attitude that impedes good police investigation. Why, I oughta...
It's horrible.
It certainly is, ma'am. I need you to make sure none of the curiosity seekers get in here.
Me?
I'm afraid there aren't any more police officials here, and I need to begin my investigations. Unless you think you cannot handle it.
Can't handle it?
I managed the Putnam County Crisis Center for 3 years. We provided food
Which
and...
is why I need your help.
Of course. I'm always willing to do my part.
I had to focus. It wouldn't be much longer before the commissioner made his way here. Milton Farber was the head of one of the biggest software companies in the country. But now, laying slumped over with his pants around his ankles, he looked like just another step. It was clearly a gunshot wound. I made it a point not to touch anything. Hawkins would have me carted away for tampering with evidence. I noted that the door to the bathroom could be locked from both inside and outside. From the body's position, it was clear that it had been shifted around, as though someone had rifled through his pockets.
Get out of my way.
I'm sorry, but the police officer asked that nobody disturb him.
Police officer? Case, are you impersonating a police officer?
No, Commissioner.
But this woman said...
I can't help it she inferred that.
You mean you're not a police officer?
Did I say I was?
Well, no, but...
There, Commissioner.
Case, so help me, if you've touched anything...
Not a thing, Commissioner. I know better.
If you did, you wouldn't get involved. What a mess.
Not the most dignified way to go.
No. Let's see if this thing works up here.
Cell phone, huh? Seems everyone's got one of these things lately.
I couldn't get a signal downstairs. I think the storm might have something to do with it.
I wouldn't know.
This is Hawkins. I'm at the Henderson estate. We have a homicide here. I need an ambulance and... Oh, I see. How long do you think it'll be? All right, I'll do what I can from here. But we need someone over here as soon as possible.
What's wrong?
The storm is causing a number of emergencies. Phone lines are down and traffic's a nightmare with roads being washed out. It looks like we're on our own.
That's the case, Commissioner. Allow me to help.
Forget it, Case. I don't want your help and I don't need your help. Nobody is going anywhere with the weather the way it is. The killer's trapped in this house. You go downstairs and join the others while I examine the crime scene.
I didn't know where to begin. If I'd made waves, I'd only anger Hawkins. I was about to wend my way over to Melissa and confer with her when fate stepped in.
Oh, Mr. Case.
Actually, Mrs. Henderson stepped in.
Could I speak to you a moment in private?
I'm really not supposed to be talking to anybody.
Please, Mr. Case, this is important.
All right. Where can we go?
Well, the study is just across the hall. Follow me. I wish to hire you, Mr. Case. I want you to find out who killed Milton Farber.
I'm afraid I can't get involved, Mrs. Henderson. Commissioner was very explicit about that.
I can handle Vance Hawkins. You leave him to me. It is vital you find out who killed Milton.
This really is police jurisdiction.
Vance is a dear, but he hasn't been involved in any real police work in years.
Why are you so concerned?
The publicity will have a negative effect on the release of my operating system.
Covering your bases.
Good business sense.
And if it turns out to be that you're the killer?
Don't even joke about such a thing, Mr. Case, or I'll have your license.
A good investigator covers all the possibilities.
Consider it covered, and be quick about this, Mr. Case, and I'll pay triple your usual fee.
It's very generous. I will need you to run interference while I work my way through your guests.
Can I help you?
I was looking at this picture, wondering if it was an original.
Are you a patron of the arts?
No, actually I'm not. I figure, though, that she must have some money if she can afford an original.
This entire hallway is covered with original artwork, Mr. Case.
May I ask you something about Farber Technologies' what did you call it, operating system? What if your operating system was able to beat out Henderson's? Would that hurt her?
To be honest, there was very little chance of that happening. We are 3 months behind, and Alona's system is better. It really will give Windows a run for its money.
So you don't think Mrs. Henderson would have a strong enough motive to murder Milton Farber?
That's even funnier, Mr. Case. You're a funny man. You're not a very good detective, but you'd make a great comedian.
Who do you think did it?
I don't know. I have enough to deal with trying to hold this company together now that Milton is gone. He may not have been around much, but he was there when I needed him.
Which brings up an interesting question. Are you the sole owner of the company with Farber gone?
Just what are you implying?
I'm not implying anything. I'm merely asking a question. I've been hired to find out who killed Milton Farber.
Hired? Who hired you?
I can't reveal my client. I'm sorry if I offended you.
I'm not offended. Well, actually, yes, I am. You don't know me, but if you did, you'd know it was impossible for me to do such a thing.
You're right, Mr. Marcos. I don't know you. That's why I have to investigate. It's my job. Hey, Jeeves. I know. It's Corman, right? Sorry, it's just that my only experience with butler types has been from the movies, and they were all named Jeeves.
And I suppose you'll tell me next that I did it.
Did what?
Murdered Mr. Farber. The butler always does it in the movies, correct, sir?
Yeah, I guess they do. Bit of a bum rap.
Indeed, sir.
But what would be your motivation?
I am a servant, Mr. Case. I serve. I am not capable of such a despicable act.
No offense, Corman, but that I wouldn't know. You certainly had the means to commit the act.
How so?
The bathroom door was not forced open, which suggests that someone unlocked the door and let themselves in. You have access to such keys, correct?
Yes, sir, but I maintain I am a servant.
And you serve Ilona Henderson.
I would not continue that inference, sir. It would not be healthy for you.
Are you threatening me, Corman? I thought you were incapable of such despicable acts.
There are different forms of health, Mr. Case. You could find yourself financially stricken were such inferences relayed to Miss Henderson.
Wouldn't want that to happen. Well, it's good to talk to you, Corman. I was never any good at approaching distraught relatives. Give me a cold, calculating killer to question any time. The woman had lost her husband. Then again, a grieving widow is one of the oldest ploys in the book.
Oh, Mr. Case, I didn't hear you enter.
I'm sorry to disturb you, Mrs. Farber. If this is a bad time to talk...
There's nothing to talk about. My husband's dead.
And I'm sorry for your loss, but there is the matter of how he died. He was murdered.
And you intend to find out who did it? Didn't the commissioner warn you to stay away from this?
I was never very good at listening to authority figures. Ask my father. Why would anyone want to kill your husband?
Why wouldn't they? He made a number of enemies in his time. He was a threat to that witch Henderson. Even his partner gains to benefit from his death.
As do you.
Wait a minute. Are you implying that I had anything to do with Milton's death?
Not at all. I was merely speculating.
I love that man. I didn't kill him. I didn't.
Mrs. Farber, are you all right? Case, what are you doing here?
This man is accusing me of killing my husband.
He's what? Case, what did I tell you about getting involved?
That it wasn't such a good idea.
I told you not to. Obviously, you decided not to listen to me. Come on.
Commissioner, please, I can help you.
I don't need help from some clueless gumshoe. I'm a 30-year veteran of the force. Now move.
Where are you taking me?
Right in here. There's a television here to amuse you and keep you out of trouble.
He locked me in here. Now what am I going to do? Mrs. Henderson, thank goodness. Did you talk to Commissioner Hawkins?
I certainly did.
I'm sorry about upsetting Mrs. Farber, but I needed to speak with her. She is a suspect.
She is a widow, Mr. Case. You need to respect that. It appears that you have a knack for upsetting the wrong people. Marcos, Corman, I would imagine you were going to question me next.
Actually, I was.
What?
You have motive, Mrs. Henderson. You have opportunity. There was no forced entry.
Why, you ugly little man, how dare you?
I have to consider every possibility.
And have you considered that I hired you to find Milton's killer? I came here to see if there was anything I could say to get you out of here so that you could continue your investigation, and now you're accusing me of killing Milton.
I didn't accuse you of anything, as I didn't accuse the widow Farber. I merely pointed out that you are both suspects.
Well, you can contemplate how either of us could have done such an act from this room, Mr. Case.
That went well. Melissa, what are you doing here?
Getting you out of here. You have a murder to solve.
But the guard, the commissioner.
I was able to distract the guard and get the key. As for the commissioner, that's your lookout.
How did you distract the guard? Oh.
Get your mind out of the gutter. What do we do?
I want to check Farber's body first. Is there a guard outside the bathroom?
Yeah. Give me a minute to distract him.
I'm really going to have to give you a raise. You know, this is going above and beyond the call of duty.
I'm going to lock you back in here if you don't clean up your act. Come on.
What's the matter?
I'm sorry. I've never seen a dead body before.
You can wait outside if you want. There's something I want to check. Hand me a towel. I don't want to leave any fingerprints. What I think is missing is really here.
What's that?
Hang on a second. Yep, it's gone.
What?
Do you have your cell phone with you?
Sure. Why?
I'm going to call the killer.
How much longer are we going to have to wait here?
I'm sorry about this, Mr. Marcos. I've never seen a storm like this.
Perfect night for a murder, wouldn't you say?
Case, what the hell are you doing here? I had you locked up.
Yes, you did. But there was something I saw upstairs that bothered me. I had to have another look at the victim.
You touched my husband's body?
Have you no shame?
You've gone too far this time, Case.
And I discovered something was stolen. Something very important. Observe.
What's that you're holding up? A cell phone?
It is. I'm not fond of things like this, but I understand that they are very important to people like Mr. Farber. I had to have my secretary...
Administrative assistant.
Administrative assistant show me how to use it. I've entered a number, and then I press the green button like so, and...
Where's the ringing coming from?
Marcos! It's coming from Marcos!
Marcos! How did you get Farber's cell phone?
He gave it to me.
I doubt it. Cell phone is very complex. He had his entire life stored in it. Even had a lock case for it. It's not something he would just give to someone. Now, why don't you explain to us why you killed Milton Farber?
All right, I did it. But I'm not alone in this. Christine was involved, too. We've been having an affair for years.
You bastard!
And that's not all. Ilona was involved, too. She wanted to merge with our company, but Milton would have nothing to do with it.
Rubbish! You have no proof.
I have the documents we had drawn up to merge the company with your signature already on them. Besides, we were having an affair, too.
You were cheating on me with her? You bastard.
I'm not going down alone on this one.
All right, let's just calm down. The three of you are going to have to come with me. I'm going to lock you up in that room upstairs.
You can't do this in my own home, Commissioner.
Until we sort this out, I have to, Mrs. Henderson.
Well, you'll be hearing from my lawyer.
Mine, too.
It sounds like you're going to need them, if you'll step this way.
Just 1 minute, Commissioner. Mrs. Henderson, if you were involved in all this, why did you hire me?
I'm not involved in all this.
Give it up, Ilona. She hired you to throw suspicion off her. She figured you would get in the way of the commissioner's investigation.
All right, enough of this.
You had the wrong man locked away, Commissioner.
Maybe I should lock you up with them, Case.
I got the job done, Commissioner. You could at least say thank you.
All right, let's move.
You didn't expect him to say thanks, did you?
No, but a little acknowledgement wouldn't hurt.
I think once the word gets out, you'll have your share of acknowledgement.
You're right. How did you get to be so smart?
I can't be that smart. I work for you.
Had to spoil the moment with a cheap shot, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Today's program featured Brad Vincent as Justin Case, Katie Dunnigan as Melissa, Lynn Zimmerman as Ilona, Bob Holland as Milton Farber, Paula Canterbury as Christine, Joe Cleon as Marcos, David Crawford as Corman, and Alan Cash as Commissioner Hawkins. Also heard were Melinda Buchanan and Brian Lissick. Murder in High Society was written by John S. Drew. Original music was written and performed by David Crawford and Tom Holman. WCRS Radiostage is produced in Akron, Ohio by David Binkley and David Crawford. I'm Joe Calley, asking you to join us the next time we open the curtain on WCRS Radiostage.